We are on the first floor in the old section of the building, right outside the pink room. I'm going to try to just get some... Sorry, is my roving... I'm just going to try to get some B-roll footage. Okay.
Welcome to Remnants. I'm Emily.
And I'm Kayla, your old-timer prospector.
Yeah, so that audio, I played it again and again and again, and I was so convinced. I was like, oh my god. We got an EVP that is a full sentence, and it's an old-timey prospector. Like, where did this even come from? This man, this old man, speaking in a southern accent. No, did you get some B-roll footage? That's not what it sounded like, but... I played it again. I slowed down the audio. I sent it to people and they're like, yes, this is what it is. And I sent it to Kayla and she's like, I think that's me.
I think it's me.
And then guess what? We recorded on 5 different devices, including video. And I watched the video and there's her little mouth moving every time she says she's going to get some B-roll footage.
I don't know why I said it 3 times.
Don't get some B-roll footage.
But I said it so many times I had to start saying it in a different accent.
And she sounded like
a man.
Completely different. We've listened to it several times. We're like, yeah, it still sounds like an old man ghost.
It does.
But it's just you.
It's just Kayla.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I can say why.
Can you?
Should we set up the scene for how freaking the state that we were in?
Yes, let's set it up. God, I had that place.
Oh, I guess we haven't even said where we are.
No, we haven't.
So we investigated Beattie Mansion in St. Joseph, Missouri.
Terrible place.
Yes. There's just so much.
Literally so much. How big did you say it was, the location?
So... the location is 18,000 square feet. Yep. Part of the problem was we thought it was actually less than half that size.
I thought it was a tiny house.
Because when you see Beattie Mansion, it's always just this one structure. And that's what we thought. We didn't realize that it's actually, in the late 1800s, the building was duplicated. And then there's a middle part that connects it. So it's over twice as big as the original Beattie Mansion section. And we did not know that. And we were like, we're going to investigate this place, just the two of us.
We can't make it even if we try.
We just way overestimated our bravery. Jinx.
You already got me a Coke.
We also, this was almost part 2 or continuation of our McIntyre Villa investigation, because we did them back to back.
We were rolling on a solid 2 hours of sleep?
Maybe 2.5.
Maybe 2.5. Ooh, 2.5, yeah. 2.5 hours of sleep, and nothing but Taco Bell and Taco John in our bellies.
Yeah. And
no, that's not true. Your parents made us a glorious last meal.
Mm-hmm. But I think you could tell, my mom, she texted me after we had left. She was like, did you guys not like the dinner? You didn't eat very much. And I was like...
she did?
No. And I was like, no, we loved it. I was like, I think we were just so... when you're so tired, you're actually, sick. I think that's where we were.
We laid in bed for, I think, 40 minutes, and we're just like, oh, God.
How are we gonna make it? Yeah, we were way too ambitious, and then we get to this place. Well, we'd also never investigated somewhere by ourselves before, and we chose a very haunted, scary place that is massive.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And then, oh my God, my congestion came back. And then we made the mistake of having the paranormal group, a couple members from the paranormal group that we toured with the night before, or investigated, I guess. They came by to tell us about
their experiences with Beattie.
And how terrifying it is. Every single spot in that building was absolutely terrifying. And they told us this. We came in mostly without a lot of knowledge. We knew there was some poltergeist activity, stuff like that. But we came there. They walked us around the building, told us exactly what they'd seen in every spot.
Because Mike had been there, I think he said 8 times.
Yeah. So they tell us about all the shadow people and the things and all the stuff they see. And then they just leave.
They leave us.
They leave us, which we asked them to.
Yeah.
But, they waited till the sunset, and then they were like, bye.
Have fun.
And meanwhile, the entire time I'm learning about how terrifying this place is, I'm just getting more and more lost to the world.
Yeah. Well, and like when we were in the basement with Mike and Byron from Jim Paranormal, they were touring us around. Like, we walked past this one door, and there's literally a fork is what's got the door locked.
Yeah, so there's like the second layer of fear, which is a much more rational fear. I had been aware that the house was in a bad part of town, but literally, Kayla drove us up this giant hill, through a tree. We're going past these crumbled buildings, just like completely crumbled down to the ground buildings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't right. This isn't where we're going. And I look, there's this creepy abandoned car like on a cinder block in this big parking lot. And she's like, I think this is it. And I'm like, no, it's not. This isn't it.
This can't be it.
And then one of the guys we're meeting up pulls into the parking lot. And I'm like, fucking shit. This is it. So there's that. And then, yes, we're touring the basement and the door's locked with a fork. A dingle hopper.
And there are so many doors. Even the basement has
elaborate.
multiple exits.
Yeah.
And we came into this one room, I think it was the stables, and there's like underwear and deodorant in the corner.
And they just casually mentioned they've had trouble with squatting in the past.
The homeless coming in.
The homeless just, because we're it's so close to the river, they get kind of people, passing through that are like, oh, creepy old abandoned building. Cool. So
yeah, when they leave us and we realize we are literally the only 2 people in this massive place.
Yeah.
Oh, the reality set in.
Yeah, because, obviously when you're ghost hunting, the plan is that you're going to be quiet, you're going to be walking through the dark. You're expecting scary things to happen, but you kind of... I think we were used to having that layer of security and knowing that we're somewhere that either there's other people with us that are supposed to be there, or we're somewhere that's a little more secured feeling, which I think this place was secured.
We also, I think we could have been more rational if we had had a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
We're so tired that, I even knew it at the time. I'm like, I know I am not reacting how I would if I had a full night's of sleep.
Yeah, so I'm like, I do get scared at these places for sure, but that level of fear, I think it was I think there were lots of layers to it, because yes, I was scared of the real elements of it not being in a good area and it being freaking giant and not really being able to fully eliminate the possibility of somebody being in some part of the house.
Because it's so huge. Yeah.
But then wrapping that up with the fact that this place is wildly haunted. And I think we verified that, because how long were we there total?
Total we were there almost 6 hours.
6 hours.
But, let me preface, the first 2 hours is us, the person that works for the owners giving us a tour. Then Mike and Byron, we did a tour again with them. And then we probably investigated ourselves for maybe 45 minutes. And then we sat in the
little home base.
The home base for 2 hours, trying to toughen up to leave, or to leave the room.
And I was toughening up to leave. I
even have some video of us where I'm like, come on, Emily, let's just go down the hall.
She was talking to me like I was a dog.
Let's just go down the hall.
Trying to get me to walk on a leash for the first time. Like, come on, it's not that bad. Come on. I'm like, the fuck it isn't. I think... Yeah, you can hear, not necessarily in some of the audio we got, my chair is popping.
It's ready to pop.
Anyways, you can't necessarily hear it as much in the audio, but if you see videos of us and you just look at my eyes, you could just see the pure terror there.
I know, it's actually really sad.
It's so sad. I'm depressed looking at myself. I'm like, what a disappointment I am.
But I think so much of it, I mean, we were so tired. I think that's a lot of it. And there's not as much video of me because I think you were focused on, like, the audio recording and I was the one that had the camera. So I think I would have been showed just... Maybe.
I don't know. You did not seem... I felt so bad. You did not seem as... I knew you were scared, but you were not nearly as scared as I was. And then I felt bad. I'm like, well, I ruined the whole thing.
No, you
didn't. We were supposed to be there till...
Well, we had it till 10 a.m. the next day, I think.
Yeah.
And we at 9:15, we called my mom. And I was like, can you come get us?
Mom, pick us up. It's haunted as shit in here.
And my mom was like, can't you just walk out to your car and go? And we're like, no, we can't. And so she was like, well, why don't you give it another hour and just like see? And so we did, and we never left the base room.
Yeah, like in retrospect, I think my desire to explore would have overpowered my fear, because like right now I feel all gung-ho about the idea. Like I would love to.
We definitely want to go back and do a redemption, but
yeah, we've concluded that even if we had just like a single person sitting in the home base watching the cameras, because there's like security cameras positioned everywhere, except were there any? There were some in the basement.
There were some in the basement. Yeah.
I think if we did that, and like if I locked the basement and like just blocked it somehow, just so I can eliminate the possibility of somebody coming in through there while we're being stupid and talking to ghosts. Like, imagine doing Estes method, just the two of us, and there's one of us just conscious and the other one's just gone, and somebody's just sneaking up behind us.
Oh my god, don't put that in my head.
This is what I was thinking the whole night. I'm like, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna be these stupid ghost hunters murdered in a creepy old house that we paid to be alone in.
Yeah, I paid a stupid amount of money.
We paid to be murdered in an old house.
Well, that was something actually that reminds me that we thought of too that helped like us feel better is a lot of ghost hunters, it's not just two people. There are some groups where it is just two people, but even if there's only two investigators, a lot of them have a film crew, or they at least have one or two other people with them, or they have guests with them. Like Sam and Colby are only two people, but they always have guests with them. And they're also guys, and they're just more brave.
Yeah, so we're now taking...
than us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did some stupid things.
Things,
like,
yeah.
I would never do some of what they did. But,
Yeah.
we're now officially accepting applications. You know, if anybody wants to be a guest on any of our ghost hunts, because we're scared.
Yes.
Maybe not any of them, and you have to be able to be quiet sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's very important.
And you don't even have to
Kayla...
investigate with us. You can just sit in the home base and, like, watch a camera.
Yeah, like, as long as you can watch a camera and have snacks ready and use a walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably all we need.
Yeah. Taking applications.
It's basically like playing Phasmophobia.
Right?
So...
But if you subscribe to our Patreon, we can share some of our Emily's Very Scared videos. Or the drive up. We have a video of the drive up.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we will. I shouldn't say if ever. When we finish the video.
We'll finish it, yeah.
We will. It's almost this episode, this part of Beattie, it'll probably almost be more like an urban exploring, just us kind of wandering the house. Because we went literally everywhere in that house. We opened every door. We opened some doors we weren't supposed to.
Honestly, I almost feel like how thorough that tour was scared me more because it just made it apparent like how many places you could hide
and how many rooms and closets and exits. And I mean, this place is massive.
Yeah, it just felt, and I guess this is a PSA for anybody wanting to investigate there, it felt unsafe with two people. Mm-hmm. And maybe it'd be different as two guys, but I don't know. There's just too many factors. And I have too much anxiety for that.
Yeah.
I learned that.
So I wish we would have learned that we can't investigate by ourselves somewhere cheaper. But, it's fine. But we also so we probably only investigated about 45 minutes on our own, if that. And stuff still happened, which then makes me like, what would have happened if we had stayed longer? But
yeah, like I kind of, when I picture Beattie and our time there, especially after listening to the audio, like I kind of picture it like I feel like we were surrounded by things the whole time we were there. Mm-hmm. And I just want to and also don't want to know what would have happened if we did stay all night and were fully immersed in it and actually truly investigating and had given the house time to actually warm up. Like, what would have happened?
I get, yeah, I don't know.
And I have ideas and maybe we could talk a little bit more about, like, I guess we still need to go into the history, so I can bring it up later. But I have some ideas of what I'd like to try when we go back, but we can kind of circle back to that later.
Yeah, I guess I can get into the history of the place so you guys can kind of get an understanding for how old this building is. And
Teach me, history lady.
Yeah. So locals call it the house on the hill, which
makes it a lot scarier.
I mean, thank God you can now, like, drive up to it, but, like, it's a ton of stairs if you had to walk up to the house.
And we have a few pictures. We'll post them on our Instagram of kind of the front and all of its true terror.
Yep.
It looks like someplace you'd get murdered at.
It does. It's it's located in the north end of St. Joseph, Missouri, which is the oldest part of the city. It was built in 1854 by Armstrong Beattie and his wife Eliza. They lived there for 25 years, and during that time, Armstrong was the city's first banker, and he became mayor in 1857. He was elected 4 more times and holds the distinction of being the only person to serve as mayor of St. Joseph 5 times. So, good for him. Now, a not good part of the Beatties is they did own slaves. This was pre-Civil War.
I think that's part of why the house is so labyrinthine too, isn't it? Because they had rooms. Yeah,
the basement was where the slave quarters were, and the kitchen and such, and the stables.
Like, that tunnel too that they said they went to get like water.
Yeah, so the tunnel, it's now boarded up, but you can see where it is in the basement that led down to the river.
Nightmare fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Noises from the computer.
Jumpy.
So yeah, that's kind of a sad part of the history. Armstrong died in 1878 after a sudden bout of cholera. He left the house to Eliza, his wife, but he did not leave her any money to run the house. I know. So his fortune then went to, like, because they didn't have any children, so his fortune went to his next heirs, which were his nieces and nephews. So it was kind of sad that Eliza had the house, but she couldn't, like, afford to run it.
Yeah, he just left her and was like, peace.
Yeah, so I don't know,
like, expensive mansion.
I'm not sure. He was allegedly beloved by the town, but I don't get good vibes from him.
No, and some of the stories we hear about his potential spirit aren't good either.
Right, so I don't like him.
No, he's an asshole. If you ever go back and be like, you're an asshole. Yeah. And I already forgot your name.
Yeah. It's not worth remembering. Armstrong.
Thank you.
So Eliza actually died 2 years after Armstrong, and since the couple didn't have any children, their home was sold to the Ladies Union Benevolent Association.
Okay.
Where it became known as the Home for the Friendless.
Luba.
Yep. Yeah.
Luba.
That that's how its acronym is. So it provided shelter for the area's homeless and distressed population. In 1895, the house was converted into the Memorial Home for the Aged, and this is when the second addition was added, which mirrored the original mansion, so it essentially, like, doubled its size.
Okay.
And it's, a total of 18,000 square feet, and I don't know how many rooms. 50? I don't know. An absurd amount of rooms.
It's just... I picture that place and it's like
yeah.
I get freaked out just picturing it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. In 1995, Luba, the Ladies Union Benevolent Association, they needed more modern facilities for its residents, and they moved the home to another location. After that, the building was temporarily used as a group home for the mentally ill and substance abuse addicts. Also in the early 2000s, it was a fraternity house for a couple years.
Which is the most random thing ever.
So freaking random.
Yeah. And it's like, I think everybody forgot that happened. We just happened to have a contact with somebody who didn't
he wasn't in the frat, but he was like
He knew people.
He knew he had friends there, so he was basically at the house every day.
Which, like, I could see it because it's such a big building, but apparently, like, it was still not in great condition when people were living there.
Yeah. Which I guess like 20-year-old boys don't care as much,
like,
but
they're probably the ones that lock the door with the fork.
Probably, and it's been that way ever since. Hey, you know what? If it works, don't need to fix it.
If the fork bends, don't straighten it.
Yeah.
Life
quotes of Emily.
I thought I could come up with something pithy, and I could not. Failure.
In 2004, Michael Burkhart bought it, and he is the current owner still. And he had planned to turn it into a bed and breakfast. But during attempts to renovate the mansion, numerous contractors experienced paranormal activity and refused to return. They reported hearing disembodied voices and seeing shadows and full-bodied apparitions and hearing door slams, and so they just, nope.
I'm noping just hearing it.
Yeah, there's one story of a caretaker, Kelly Matthews, during this, it was 16 years ago. He had a terrifying experience. It was storming, and sometimes there's a theory that storms can kind of energize paranormal activity, make it more intense. He was woken up at 3:25 a.m. to a loud thunder, and when he shot up in bed, he heard that there was banging on his bedroom door. And he was staying in Armstrong's room. And he got up, he opened the door, looked out into the hallway, and every door in the hallway was open, and he had closed them all before he went to bed. So he said he just felt like he was in danger, and he just left that night and never came back. Now, a part of this was Kelly Matthews is an African-American man. Armstrong owned slaves, was most likely racist, so he might have been really targeting Mr. Matthews to leave. Yeah. And it worked, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have worked on me, too.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to do that much, and I was out of there.
So, I don't know, just the mansion's history of just, it housed a lot of kind of just distressed souls and kind of just unwanted people, misery, it's just kind of a sad history, really.
Yeah, and it had so many people passing through it, and it was a busy place, and then every description that we've heard from people since about the paranormal activity is the same, that it's just busy, the busiest place people have been to.
Yep.
And I'm sad we didn't give it more of a chance, but
we just couldn't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we can talk too a little about some of the paranormal activity, or some of the ghosts in the house. So you've got Eliza, and she mostly seems to be on the second floor, but interesting enough, she is on the newer side, which wouldn't have existed in her lifetime. So that's kind of interesting. And, we were told don't bring up the fact that they didn't have children, because all activity will just cease in the house, and it'll just become super quiet and still.
Yeah, because she's kind of the one who seems to be more in charge, even though, Armstrong is there, and he's obviously an asshole. I think because she cares about the house so much and is the caretaker, and since there are supposed to be so many children's spirits there, she's just kind of...
that motherly figure, I guess?
Kind of, but then there's also a more negative, edge to her a little bit from what some people have said. It's every spirit there's fine, but there's always
Don't
this
push
little... them. Yeah, there's always... They're that close to just not being very nice anymore.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if it's because the place wasn't investigated for a really long time, and it was in operation for so long, and then it gets turned into a paranormal destination, essentially. They have literally a command center for ghost hunters that includes bunks and things like that. That's what it is now. Mm-hmm. And they've had a lot of people coming in and out experimenting in different ways and poking the ghosts in different ways. And
that's true. Like maybe, yeah, when it was in continuous use, it kind of, they weren't being bothered in a sense.
Right. Now people are bugging him, so maybe like the spirits aren't necessarily bad, but maybe they're annoyed.
Could be. Well, we gotta go back and like poke them ourselves. I guess.
I don't know if I want to. Some of those stairs are scary. Yeah. I was even scared of the stairs there.
And there's a alleged story that a woman hung herself in this one staircase.
On the stairway.
Yeah. So there's that. There's George.
Yeah. So an interesting thing about this place, and I remember thinking about it during the tour, like spirits had their own rooms. Yes. And they like knew about them. The current caretaker has said that she's, I think, a medium or something, or kind of in touch with a psychic. Mm-hmm. And they have, like, specifications in the room based on what she said the spirits have told her they want. So you can go into each room, and, like, George's room is very personalized to who they believed he was. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, how much they actually have records of it, but...
Yeah, that's a good question we should ask if we go back. Like, are there records? Like, was that literally a George lived in this room?
Right. Like, do they know for sure? Because they act like they do, but is this just stuff... Not to say that the medium's not telling the truth or that it's not real, but... Like,
just to have the documentation to back up, like, to double verify.
Like, was this just a vibe check? Or they do say, like, with George, they say that he's a veteran and that he's very fond of women. And I remember on the tour they told us, like, if you guys investigate here alone, you'll probably get something. And we didn't.
Yeah, ironically, that was the room we did not have anything happen.
Unless he followed us out into the hallway.
Could be.
You specifically told him to stay in his room, though.
I did, and then Emily's like, you don't have to stay in your room.
I was like, just don't follow us out of the house. But you can come out of your room.
I was like, don't leave that room.
She did. You're like, okay, bye. Stay in your room. And he's probably like, bitch. I think she is.
Yeah.
I'm a veteran. But there's him, and then there was the old lady who I don't think had a name.
She did not have a name.
For some reason, in my head, she's Rosa.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. That's her name now.
Maybe you were getting a connection.
I'm a psychic.
Yes.
Speaking of psychics, this is totally off trail, kind of, but like, Kayla randomly, were you texting me or were you talking? I don't remember. And she was just, we were talking, it was in the car. Yeah. She was like, hey, do you ever have, like, you know, when you're, like, falling asleep or you're waking up and you just hear, like, a voice, like somebody talking to you? That's normal, right? And I was like, no, that's not normal. And she just said, oh, maybe I'm hearing ghosts then. Just totally, do you ever hear voices?
Because you're falling asleep?
Sometimes when I'm sleeping, people speak to me. I just thought people
like that. I don't know. I just thought it was, like, my... subconscious, like, I don't know, kind of like when you fall in a dream. Like, I kind of thought it was some kind of auditory version of that.
I mean, there are auditory hallucinations. I think it's a matter of whether you believe it's just your brain being like, woohoo, big summer blowout, I'm going into that. Woohoo, lots of voice in your room.
I really hope I have a ghost going, woohoo.
It's going to be tonight. You're going to be falling asleep and you're just in the distance here.
But it's not in the distance. It usually sounds like it's right at my ear.
No. And you're just like, brains be funny.
Doesn't everyone
I guess they could be, but, like, maybe you should get that checked out if you're hearing voices. You're just low-key schizophrenic. It's fine.
Well,
it's only when I'm falling
functional.
Asleep.
Yeah, it's fine.
For now. Or you're hearing ghosts.
Yeah, maybe. Like, maybe I'm just a psychic.
Here's the thing. You start accepting that, and the more and more you accept that it's actually ghosts, the more you're going to hear them.
Maybe that's why, because you know what, this used to happen a lot more often when I was younger, and it hasn't happened for a while, but I think why I brought it up is because it had happened when I was trying to take a nap. I thought I heard someone yell, hey, into my ear. I think that's why I brought it up to you in the car. So maybe because we're kind of opening ourselves up more.
You didn't tell me it used to happen more when you were younger.
Yeah, like, it actually hasn't happened for quite a while. I also don't take near as many, like, naps as I used to, but... Because it tends to happen more when I'm napping than going to bed at night.
You just have a ghost that hates when you nap. Like, you are so lazy. Wake up. God. That's just... Anyways, that was... Kayla's probably a psychic and has just thought she was weird this whole time, or thought it was normal and that everybody hears voices. Tangent.
When they're going to sleep?
Yeah. That's so normal. So
I'm glad that you say it's normal.
No. Not at all. Just like me seeing shadow people in my doorway is probably not normal.
I know. I really want us to go to a legit medium and have him or her read us, but I'm also terrified to do that.
I want to be very specific because I don't want to have them tell me my future.
Right. I don't want that either. I more want them to read, like, if they think we're sensitive or we have attachments. I don't need to know my future.
Okay, sorry. I totally sidebarred us so badly.
No. I love sidebars.
Do we want to include the EVPs we get in each room as we get to the room? I feel like it might be interesting to try doing it EVP by room.
Yeah, maybe that's what... So maybe I should stop talking about the ghosts and we kind of go room by room what happened. I guess we could reverse back to George because the one voice we got was outside George's room.
Yeah, because that's the first...
That was where we went.
Chronologically, that's the first piece of evidence we caught.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after we filmed the reel. Yes. Which I'm sure you'll see, and I'm sure
we'll probably use it to promote this episode.
Yeah, and you'll see, look at my face, you'll be like, that bitch is scared. And you'll hear it in this audio, too, because Kayla's like, do you think we need to do that again? And I'm like, no.
It's fine.
It's great. It's fine. And that's not because I thought it was fine, it was because I didn't want to do that again. Because she had us doing some Scooby-Doo shit, running in and out of rooms, and I was so scared going into each room that I knocked every time. And I was like, hello? May I come? Room service? Housekeeping. So it was after we did that. And then I think I just had my phone sitting out recording the whole time. And I asked a question afterwards. And I believe we got a response.
So here it is. We were in that back room a long time. We're going to have to speed that.
We said hi to George.
Okay. I mean, it's just silly.
We don't need to.
Okay.
Go too cray on that one. I hope if anybody was with us, you had fun.
Yeah.
We want to be respectful, so yeah. Hopefully you didn't mind that. We're going to go talk to George now.
Yeah.
So it's really faint. It's a lot easier to hear on headphones, which I know sounds kind of like BS. And like, oh, I know you can't hear it now, but if you listen really, really close, you can hear it. But I swear you can.
Yes.
Because what is it? I asked like something like, you guys have fun.
Right. Did you think, yeah.
Did you like that? And then I swear to God, some man goes, no. And then I kind of feel like afterwards they say, I'm dead. But that part's a little...
That's way harder to pick out. But
no.
The no is pretty... I don't know. I think you can hear it pretty well with headphones.
With headphones, yeah. Anything else, you can hear it, but it's really difficult. But also, I mean, like, fair. I can't imagine you're just dead and somebody walks in your house and is just running
around like silly,
playing Scooby-Doo music.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Well, that's another thing too. It's like this, the voice happens after we ask a question. It didn't just happen. So that's kind of interesting.
I didn't get a lot of residual vibes from that place. Like, I know some of what they talked about sounded residual as far as activity, and that's...
phantom footsteps, you know, that kind of stuff, but...
It definitely seemed a lot more like we were being watched a lot of the time, and, like, more observed than directly interacted with, but even if we weren't... And I guess they were responding to us, but...
Right.
It was just weird, like, they were very aware that we were there. And so from that point, we moved on to maybe Rosa's room.
Yeah.
And we talked to her.
Talk to the elderly woman.
I remember all of Kayla's questions. She's like, well, this is another stereotypical grandma thing, but do you like making pies? I have another one. Do you like knitting?
I need to work on my question game.
We're like, what else do old ladies
I mean,
like?
I don't do well with small talk with living people, so I don't know
small
what.
talk with dead people is just difficult.
It's even worse.
Like, did you like to look out in this garden when there was a garden?
Did you like when you were alive?
Was that better? So we're asking all these questions. We don't get a response, I think, to the questions, possibly.
Right.
But near the end, when we're like, well, guess we're gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
We did catch something. And headphones do help this one as well, but...
You can hear it without.
Yeah, they're not necessary. Like, this is my favorite. So...
First, before you enjoy, we're going to play, like, the full, a longer version of the clip so that you will hear some voices from outside.
Yes. Yeah, because all the windows on the upper floor were open because it's hot as balls.
That probably also didn't help our moods because it was, like, 100
so
degrees.
hot.
It was in July. It was so freaking hot. So.
Yeah, so you can hear voices that are clearly, in our opinion, outside voices. And we could hear them at the time.
And we called them out.
Yeah.
Whenever we get around to releasing a full video, you can hear us calling them out. But
then there are voices that are not outside voices.
they're very close to the microphone.
Yes, and they're not ours, I don't think.
No.
Even though Kayla
No, because we have video.
Like
we have video of us, and it is not us.
Yeah. So now you may enjoy, right?
Yes. Now
enjoy.
Well, I think we might leave soon to go talk to some other people. Is there anything you want to tell us before we leave? In case we didn't get it earlier, can you tell us your name again?
Yeah.
It's hard. Voices can carry so hard too.
And we're back. Okay.
What do you think it said?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought we were having a Dora the Explorer moment. So I hear a woman going, which I think she's saying, are they leaving? It's kind of what my brain says, but I don't think logically you can actually understand what she's saying. But I do hear a woman whispering, and then I hear a man, who to me sounds like fucking Tim still, go, yeah.
Yep.
Like, is Tim our bouncer? Like, I swear to God, he's just there, like, dad standing in every interaction, and the old lady ghost just like, are they leaving yet? And he's like, yeah, they're going.
They're going.
They're out of here. Like,
I think I said in our McIntyre Villa episode, if one or both of us are mediums, I think Tim is our maybe spirit guide, or he's with, like, I don't even know if he's an attachment per se, is our, like, just our guide.
Has he, like, been here this whole time, and now he's like, I guess I'll talk now.
I don't know. That's why we need a more experienced medium to assess us. But I don't know if I want that to happen.
Like, some weird shit's happening.
What do you see?
What's happening here? I have looked it up. I've tried to find local people that could do that.
We might need to go to a bigger city.
I think next time, like, the metaphysical conference is here, I think you and I need to go because they have little booths you can go to.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good starter. We can speed date psychics.
Yeah, see.
And, like, can you tell us if there's a ghost with us?
Or if they all say, like, the same thing.
Yeah, what if we're walking by and somebody's just like, stop.
And what if we have, like, some weird aura around us?
Of course we do. Have you met us? We are a weird aura.
Do you hear voices as you fall asleep?
I'm like, do you see people while you're trying to sleep? Do they watch you?
From the doorway.
Did I tell you that I had a premonition? It was a while. I probably told you. It was lamest premonition ever, but I was dreaming and I dreamt of water stains on my ceiling. I just dreamt of them.
Oh,
and then I woke up and I was just walking around. I just casually was thinking, I was like, man, I'm just gonna look up. And I just was like over in my laundry room and I looked up and I was like, fuck, my ceiling's leaking.
Oh.
I was just like, the weirdest thing. It was like the day after. I was like, what? So,
yeah.
And then you with your deja vu.
Well, yeah, I think I've told you this before.
To make me nervous.
That like I could always, like when I was in high school, I would always, in college too, I would know when I didn't need to study for a test. I'd be like, I know it's gonna be canceled tomorrow. Like I just know, and it always was true. Or I'd be like, if I was trying to stay up late finishing a paper, and I'm like, oh, I know she's going to give us an extension tomorrow. And I'd go into class, and she'd be like, oh, I decided to give you guys another couple days to write this paper. It, like, always happened.
I totally just felt like somebody went in my ear. Like, it was like a...
Tim, is that you?
Don't do it in my ear again. That was fucking creepy. We are talking about this too much. It's making it real.
Let's just go back to the rest of our evidence.
This is the creepiest part of this episode. Damn.
Okay.
What just happened?
I wish we were filming us because I think I did see your, like, hair move, but I don't know if that was after you, like...
It was legit like somebody just breathed in my ear.
I didn't know if it was just, like, your hair falling or something.
No, my hair fell, but I also had that, and then my ear, like, clogged, kind of. It was fucking... Oh, thank God, I'm not going to be alone tonight. Jesus Christ. Okay, where were we?
Okay, so we leave the elderly woman's room, and then we go to George's room next, but nothing happened there.
It was the other way around.
Oh, okay. But
yeah.
Same difference. Nothing happened in George's room. So where did we get the other one?
The one that was all question marks?
Well, and the
last two I think we got actually in the hallway.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because we were talking about the door when we're pretty sure our old friend Tim makes a comeback. I think we've talked about him too much.
Yeah, so now he's starting to manifest more strongly. Audio. Oh my God, I'll freak out if there's actually audio when we go back to edit this.
Stay here.
Okay.
Kira, did you see anything?
Your cats are the worst. They don't even acknowledge anything.
No, they don't.
They're not psychic.
I forgot. My cat picture just randomly fell down 2 days ago. It just fell out of nowhere. And the cats were all standing there just like...
Oh, that's weird. When you were here?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I was just like, okay.
Tim doesn't like it.
Well, let cat staying because it's stupid and I love it.
It's so cute and hilarious.
Post a picture of it on Instagram.
Yes.
The cursed cat picture. This episode's gotten a little weird.
Yeah, it's
Sorry. I don't know what's happening. This is Thursday energy apparently.
Yeah, Thursday after work energy.
Okay. So yeah, those two are in the hallway. We think we hear Tim again. So
we'll play that?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is also another one. Obviously you can hear it better with headphones, but it's not needed. Or well, one part's
and I'll need to listen back too because I feel like there's actually two parts of this that
yes.
It sounds different depending on how you listen to it, but I think there are two parts. One's a little more obvious without headphones, one's more obvious with headphones, if that makes sense.
So just listen with headphones.
Yeah. Yeah, the lamp was on. We still have to walk a good ways through to get to the door. No, it's not too bad. It's just down. Let's go right here. Huh? So the exit's just right.
So we feel like it was Tim saying hello or someone saying hello.
Because that was actually, I think we found this one before Kayla found the audio in McIntyre.
Yes.
Of Tim again. Because this first one of hearing hello, we were like, what the fuck? That's the first time we realized that Tim was somewhere else again. Mm-hmm. And then we started piecing it together when we heard other audio and being like, I think this guy's like in a lot of places with us.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because I think we listened to the Beattie stuff first because we were a little more excited because we were on our own.
Yeah. And we wanted to prove like it wasn't a waste.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I don't think.
No.
But Yeah, I'm like struggle with thinking that it is the same spirit because that's crazy, but also like I hear other EVPs we get, they sound different. A lot of the ones we got in our most recent investigation we haven't heard before.
Right.
So like how do you explain that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things. It is the same entity, or I don't know, maybe a lot of male ghost voices sound similar. But,
yeah, which I guess
is possible. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of like difficult to say. Like, is that what's happening, or do they all just sound the same? Like, so there's that one. Yeah, because like it does kind of sound growly, and I can't quite tell because it changes depending on how you listen to it. Sometimes the hello sounds really clear, and then sometimes it sounds like a growl. So it's just confusing.
Yeah.
And like I think I heard the growl first, and then I sent it to my mom, and she was like, "Oh my God, someone's saying hello." And then I listened to it again. I was like, "Someone is saying hello.
Yeah.
What's happening with this audio?"
Yeah.
And it's just, we just have to go back.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, we've got to go back to Beattie.
because that's like the main chunk of actual evidence we got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, and this is where, circling back to when I said I had an idea for next time we go, Jem had mentioned that the kitchen is very active, and like the dining room, and the dining room is fully set up.
It is.
And I really want to experiment more with not necessarily trigger objects, but just like existing in a place more naturally and not just investigating, because so many stories you hear people are living in a house and they start having activity. Like,
Yeah.
what if we just went and casually stayed the day and like ate in the dining room and just like
We're just
there,
present.
having stuff recording obviously, but we're just present and like doing normal things that would have maybe made it easier for spirits to be like, all right, I'll interact now because they're not just being weird. But like I want to go with more people and do stuff like that, and then see if we catch anything. Maybe if we're super fancy, we have like REM pods and stuff set up or something.
Give us money.
Yeah. Oh my God, I think it was Sam and Colby again. They had like REM pod string lights now.
Ooh.
So they're able to make a full seat circle.
Oh.
And each thing would set off individually.
Oh gosh.
They had that, and then they had a 360. I don't think this was new because I think this was at the Stanley house. They had like a 360 thing where it was like a 360 REM pod temperature thing where it could tell like specifically which side of it was touching.
Ooh.
It was really cool.
That is cool because you can kind of like, if it's in a hallway, you can kind of like, what direction are they coming from?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But
We're still very low tech.
extremely, which I most of the
Which
stuff
we
we
like,
get,
actually.
most of the good stuff we get is low tech. But yes, when we go back, I want to do that.
I think it's a
wanna,
really good idea.
Like just be there, or maybe like sit in the living room instead of just doing a stupid reel by the moose, and then hiding. Anyways,
Yeah.
that was our main stuff, right?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. We actually, which we were by ourselves more, but I mean, we even got more at Beattie than we did the previous night at McIntyre, you know, and
Which I do wonder if we'd stayed and investigated at McIntyre once we were alone, if we would have gotten stuff. But
because we're just quieter.
We're very quiet.
Yeah.
We're good at being quiet when we investigate, unless we start getting scared and then we make dumb jokes. But then we can be quiet afterwards.
Yes.
I do know one of the spirits that kind of scared me in Beattie was they'd talked about there being a man in the basement.
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about the entity in the basement.
Which was interesting, and I guess this kind of goes back to, I meant to bring this up when I brought up the dining room. Jem had mentioned that they felt like the energy in the house had changed since when they began investigating there.
Years ago. Yeah.
Yes, and they were kind of attributing that to a paranormal group that had been there a lot and kind of consistently doing investigations, and they even implied that they had brought something there that was darker. And it was almost like once that group left, I think they even mentioned that the man in the basement wasn't as aggressive anymore, or he wasn't stuck in the basement almost.
Right.
Which
and
is like,
more
what's that
activity
mean?
started happening upstairs
versus
versus
so
in the basement.
weird.
Yeah.
It was like, was something trapped there? Did they bring it and it came out? Like, it didn't say
Right.
it was like bad, but it would mock people and it would charge them. And I just kept
throw
imagining,
rocks or like little pebbles that were in the basement.
Which that was the poltergeist activity that we were expecting, and I was like, oh, I can handle that when I was picturing a single house and not literally a giant underground labyrinth.
I mean, the basement, like, we have to get our video done because then you can just see like a full tour. Yeah. It literally is a labyrinth. Like, I think I didn't want to go back down there because I was like, I'm gonna get lost.
Yeah, gonna get lost. There were way too many rooms. There was like a hallway that literally had a pile of old shoes in it. Yeah,
and they were like, don't move the shoes. They don't like that. And it's like, okay, how long have these shoes been here?
There was like a shelf full of beans.
Yeah, from like the 80s or something.
It's just a weird time, weird place, weird feelings.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, like, we were in the old stable room, which is all brick. And I think we weren't supposed to be in there.
No. Honestly, if we hadn't gone down there, I probably wouldn't have been as scared.
Yeah, because I'm not sure we would have really gone back down to the basement anyways. Probably because the first 2 floors are so massive. And part of me, this is so silly, but it's like I'm more afraid of, I think, spiders than anything else.
It's not silly.
And so I was like, I don't want to be in the basement because that's where the spiders
I was scared of spiders, and I was scared of people because in the basement there was like even a section of the basement that was enclosed by like a window, and it was just where they were storing things.
Yeah.
And I remember just looking into it, not knowing how to get in there or how to get out, and being like, like somebody could just be in there and I'd have no idea.
Right.
And apparently that is just a terrifying thought to me.
I mean, it's a legit fear, though.
Too much true crime in my life.
Yeah. And I don't listen to enough. La la la. It's fine.
Together, we waste money.
Yeah. I wish we had learned much. It was an expensive lesson, but that's okay. It's okay. Yeah. We're going to go back with some other people.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Hopefully this season. If not this season, then next season.
Next season at this point. Money. So subscribe to our Patreon,
please, because then we can go redeem ourselves at Beattie a lot quicker.
We do need to redeem ourselves, and the only way that I'm ever staying overnight at Sally House is if people subscribe. Like, what would be a good subscriber number?
Yeah, because I joked about 50,000, but that's really unrealistic.
10K. That's a lot. 500.
500 would be a lot for us.
It would be, and I feel comfortable that I'm not dooming myself by saying it.
Not dooming us anytime soon, probably.
Yeah, so once we hit 500, we can do an overnight at the Sally House with other people there. Not just us.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck.
Why'd you say that? Because now it's out there.
I know. Because I meant it. Because we've got that freaking EVP that I finally believe in.
Yes. Emily finally listened to the Sally House EVP that we discussed in our Demons and Exorcisms episode.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I refused to actually listen to it before.
Yeah, because I kept trying to get I kept trying to get you to listen to it, and you're like, no, it's just my friend Kirsty. No.
And then I listened to it like last week, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is so clearly an old woman in the room.
Super scary.
So go back and listen to that, and then listen to our first episode, which is about the Sally House.
Mm-hmm.
Please. And then, we get 500 subscribers, which I don't quite know where we're tracking that, but...
but we'll know.
We'll know, yeah. Or... Yeah, 500 subscribers. Yep.
Doing it overnight at the Sally. You know what? The Sally House is a small house. It is not 18,000 square feet like Beattie.
Why did I do that?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. But it was, you know what? It was a good experience. I'm kind of glad we did it early on, like back-to-back investigations, because that is a popular thing with ghost hunters, and I think we just can't. I need sleep. I just cannot function. Maybe I could have in my 20s.
I think
I just can't do back-to-back investigations because I need sleep.
I think if it was the sort of thing where it was like framed by several days off and we weren't working and doing all our normal life functions leading up to it, maybe I could do it. If I knew, like, okay, I'm going to do 2 to 3 nights of this, and then I'm going to have 4 nights where I can just relax and sleep. Maybe. I could probably do it.
But I can even tell, like, we just weren't on our game as much at Beattie because we hardly took pictures.
True.
Because we were just so tired, we weren't thinking.
I think it's definitely one of those things that it's only something you could do if you have, like, more of a team to fall back on.
Yes,
like, if we
that's
were not
true.
our A game, we could have some people to take over until we got our second wind, and then we kind of, like, rotate.
That's a good point.
With it just being 2 people, yeah, it just did not work out for
But-
multiple reasons.
But it was still, like, really cool. Like, we kind of now, like, when we go back to Beattie, we don't need to do a tour. We don't need to know the history. Like, we can just get straight into investigating because we've explored the place plenty.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some experiences happen. We kind of also know what to expect because we did not know that they had that home base room.
Yeah, like, we could actually sleep there.
Yeah, we didn't know that. Because honestly, we weren't planning to stay at Beattie probably past 2 or so in the morning anyways, even before we got there, because we're like, we can't stay all night. Because we didn't think there was anywhere to sleep.
And, like, it was just weird because we weren't given a key or anything.
Right, so we're like, we can't leave because we can't lock.
Yeah, because our tour guide had literally mentioned, like, they have a lot of groups that will leave and go get Dunkin' and come back. If I hadn't been able to just do that, I think I would have been okay. Like, if I'd have a sleeping bag and have known, like, I can just go get Taco Bell and come back.
Yeah.
And eat my Taco Bell and just curl up in a little burrito.
And maybe we
bag,
could have, like, taken a little nap and then gone.
Which I don't think I could have slept unless we had other people there that were awake at the same time.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have been able to.
But we know, and we know what the setup's like, and we can better prepare. We do know that we need sleeping bags because same thing with McIntyre. We could have slept there.
But they just have mattresses, so you need to bring something to sleep on. Wow, people outside they're very loud tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we really finished. So our story. This is funny to end on. So I, call my mom at 9:15, and I'm like, Emily and I, we can't leave the room, and we're really, really scared. And what do we do? And she's like, just try to stick it out, like, till 10, and, like, call me back if you're just, like, you can't do it. So, yeah, 10 o'clock rolls around, and Emily and I were like, we gotta go, we gotta leave. But we were too afraid to walk to our cars because we had so much equipment with us. We were going to definitely need to make more than one trip. And it's kind of a little bit of a walk to the car. And
it's a bad area.
And it's just it's not the nicest area. So we just were envisioning someone jumping us So anyways, I made my parents at 10:30, but they are 30 minutes away, come get us. So, his 30-year-old daughter, not being picked up drunk from the bar, but being picked up from a haunted house.
It was not my proudest moment.
It was pretty
That was
funny.
a really quiet drive back, too.
Oh, yeah.
We were so disappointed.
Yeah, we were really hard on ourselves.
Yeah, I needed several pep talks the next day because I was just like, man.
I think that's why we listened to our evidence so quickly, because we needed to reassure that we weren't complete chickens.
And I definitely, after listening to it, got the feeling that there was reason to be scared. Like, there was stuff going on.
Yep.
And I wish we'd stayed.
Or at least I wish, but see, this is where I think 2 hours of sleep, I wasn't thinking. We should have set up a camera, because we were in that, home room for, 2 hours just freaking out. If I had just ran upstairs and, set a camera on the second floor or in the basement and just left it and then, gone and picked it up when my parents came.
But I have a lot of hope based on how our latest investigation went. We did a lot better.
Oh my gosh, we've improved so much.
We have. I definitely
can't wait to discuss that episode.
I definitely think we learned from our mistakes. We're remembering things we want to make sure we do better now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a little bit more equipment. We know what more equipment we want to get, which I think obviously another recorder and probably another camera before we do something big.
Yep.
Just
because the other place we investigated that we'll talk about probably in an episode or two, it was a huge place too. So,
but we did well. We weren't alone. So
we weren't alone. No,
that's definitely very important. But we investigated like we were alone, essentially. So
yeah, because it wasn't a group investigation; it was a private investigation. But because it's a government building, we had someone with us the whole time, and so he was very good at, just letting us do our thing and staying quiet.
So excited to share that location with you guys.
I know.
I'll be happy enough to count that as our redemption until we're able to go back to Beattie and fix it.
Yes.
'Cause,
So if you want to help us redeem ourselves, you know,
just slide a little cash over on our Patreon.
yes, and we have so much like content that we just don't share. That's what the Patreon will be. You know, you can see some of our behind the scenes silly things.
We're gonna get it up. We just kind of like it's there. We just kind of need to know that
It's worth our time.
Because we have so much stuff. Our phones are full.
I know.
I'm actually about to have to like delete stuff off my computer because there's so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually, well, when this episode comes out, I will be in Europe.
Whatever.
So yeah, I know I'm kind of concerned because I'm like, my phone's so full, but I need space for Europe.
She's leaving me for Europe for 2 weeks.
2.5. I'm actually like kind of sad because I think it'll be the longest we haven't seen each other and like.
And you're leaving me during spooky season.
I know it's a terrible. October was not a great time for me to leave.
How am I gonna get my spookies on?
I know. I'll be back before Halloween though.
Great.
So we can do stuff the weekend before Halloween, the last weekend of October. But yeah, I don't know, like, we talk all the time, and we won't be able to. I don't know what to do.
What am I gonna do if I start getting haunted really bad while you're gone?
Film it. But I am going, well, hopefully, we're going to this really creepy, cool place in Rome that I'm really excited.
The bone place?
Yeah, the bone place.
You're taking pictures, right?
Oh, well, yeah, you're not supposed to, but I'm definitely going to sneak some. Because that's how I roll.
Like I'm the bone.
Do you remember the days when you maybe don't because you're younger than me? You couldn't take video at concerts. The days before cell phones.
No.
Yeah, there used to be a time where you could not take photos or videos at concerts, and I would like sneak in my old digital camera and I would like take photos and little videos.
You rebel.
I did get caught one time. They just made me put it in my pocket, but.
And you're probably crying.
Yeah.
I got in trouble.
But it's so funny because nowadays it's like people film whole concerts. So it's like funny that not even all that long ago, like 15 years ago, like you couldn't video or take photos at concerts.
Yeah, you kind of have to give up at a certain point. Like, how are you going to stop people?
I think that's basically what happened is like they used to, when cell phones didn't have those capabilities, they were just like, well, you can't bring your camera in. But now,
like,
you can't stop me.
Just get scolded by the artist now.
Yeah.
Like, don't you dare take pictures.
Anyways. So that's Beattie Mansion.
Yeah, we somehow managed to fill up an entire episode, but I do feel like that was a slightly discombobulated episode, but that was just a weird experience for us. It was different. Mm-hmm. We'll definitely say that this is a part 1 to Beattie because there will be a part 2.
Yes, we will go back.
Whether this season or next season, we're going to go back and it's going to be a full investigation. We'll sleep there and everything.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go. I even think it doesn't have heat or that's part of the problem too. It doesn't have heat or air conditioning, so trying to find a time to go back because we went in the dead of summer, so it would be nice if the windows weren't open and fans weren't really loud, but you know.
Yeah. Ghost hunting in the summer is rough.
But it's not easy in the winter either.
No, like you need the sweet spot of either spring or fall. And our fall is taking its dear sweet time.
It sure is. It is still 90 degrees.
I don't even know if we're going to get a fall. I'm just going to keep dressing like it's fall and sweating a ton.
But follow us on our Instagram at Remnants Paranormal.
We post there frequently, mostly thanks to Kayla because she remembers too. And I'm just like, oh man, good job. You did it again.
You do there too. You can tell the difference between our posts because if it's really funny and clever, that means Emily wrote it.
Funny and clever are also incredibly unhinged and like some really hyper just.
I love it though. Mine are just. I'm just not as creative. So when it's just like, our episode is out. that was Kayla.
It's just. Have you ever dreamt of a giant squirrel eating tacos on your tummy? That's me. Because I just say things and
I love it.
They never make sense.
So at our Instagram, we've got links to our Patreon and our YouTube if you want to subscribe to us so that, you know, if we get enough subscribers, we'll be quicker about getting videos out there.
Call out to a follower we got on Instagram recently just because their name makes me laugh. Fuck everybody. 8383. Thanks for the follow. If you listen, your name made me laugh.
So thank you for giving us that joy, and thanks for following.
Thanks. Their profile picture's a skeleton flipping you off.
That's funny.
Yeah, the vibes are immaculate. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, and please tell people about us and leave us a review, so that Apple will want to promote us.
Yeah, we need help, guys. Like, if we're gonna traumatize ourselves this often,
we need more motivation.
We do, because I just got freaked out thinking a ghost gave me a wet willy.
And I think that might have actually happened.
She saw it. It was like a full
I saw your hair move.
It was like Paranormal Activity. It literally happened in Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, we were going to obviously cut that audio because we were just, chatting, but we might have to, leave it in or put it at the end or something.
I'm definitely listening because I'm still not... I still think we might hear something.
But I feel like we've been Midwest goodbying
We're bad at that.
this ending for a while, so we will bid you adieu.
Adieu, parting is such sweet.
And we will see you in 2 weeks. With a new episode.
What's it about? I don't know.
Yes, we do know, but we're gonna make it a surprise.
Even to myself.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Armstrong died in 1878 after a sudden bout of what is that? Chlora? How do you
Where is
say
it? Cholera.
Oh my god.
Cholera?
Well, okay, let's say that again. Okay. I just could not
Cholera?
I was could not put it into my brain how to say it. I'm like, oh, duh.
He had cholera.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like a prescription medication.